Hello, my name is Teacher Craig, and welcome to Worldly Wise. This is level 4, lesson 10. Here is my introduction. I have a Masters with High Distinction from Indiana University, and I also hold my online English TEFL certification, and you can see that shown here. I live in Minnesota in the United States, and my hobbies include music and travel. You can see among my pictures here, there's a beautiful waterfall that comes from my state of Minnesota. You can also see my 4 beautiful, cute little puppies. They're all French poodles. And all their names start with J. There's Jacques and Jaja and Georgie and my newest one, Jete. They're so very cute. I wonder if you have dogs or cats. Here's some reminders. Turn on your camera. Mute the microphone while you're not talking. Have your book ready. Be prepared to be called on at any time. And if you cannot hear me, please type 00 in the chat box. Okay? Good. And here's our normal agenda, but today we're only going to do vocabulary and reading. All right, here's our first word. Communicate. Communicate. 4 syllables. Communicate. Communicate. And the accent is on the 2nd syllable. Can you say that with me? Communicate. Communicate. Good. Communicate is a verb that means to give or exchange information. And here's a sentence. We communicate mostly by telephone. And that's the case these days, isn't it? You probably have a phone. Your parents have a phone. They probably have 2 phones. The other children in your family, if there are children, they have phones, and we all talk on the phone, don't we? The noun is communication. Communication. This is 5 syllables. Can you say it with me? Communication. Communication. Let me hear you now. Say that 2 times with Teacher Craig. Communication. Communication. Good. Communication is a noun. It is the exchange of information between people. Communication is happening right now. Teacher is giving you information and you're taking it in. And later on, you'll be responding with information. That's communication. Going on, the fight was caused by a lack of communication between us. So sometimes fights do happen because people just don't communicate, right? Good. So it's always good to communicate even between people you disagree with. All right. Communicative, the next line, communicative. This is 5 syllables. Can you say communicative? Communicative. This is the adjective. And of course, an adjective modifies a noun. Communicative means willing to speak, eager to talk. When I asked where she had been, she was not very communicative. Can you say that with me again? Communicative. Communicative. Let me hear you say it. Good, good. So now it says at the bottom, show your partner how you might act if you are not feeling communicative. What would you do if you were not feeling communicative? Would you maybe fold your arms and sit back and just listen and not talk, not speak? Maybe that's a way that a person would be not communicative. Maybe you would just, if I called and left a message on your phone, maybe you would just not return my call. This could be a way you could be not communicative. Okay, next word. Desire. Desire. Desire is a verb that means to want very much. A person who is famished desires just one thing, food. You see the hamburger? Yummy. Hamburger and French fries? Yummy. Imagine if you were famished and you hadn't eaten for a while and you saw that hamburger. Wow, you would want it right now. Desire as a noun means a strong wish. Pizarro, now this is an explorer from many, many years ago, hundreds of years ago. Pizarro's desire for gold was so great, he ordered the Inca king Atahualpa to fill 3 rooms with it. Wow, can you imagine? 3 rooms filled with gold. Wow, that's a lot of gold. Wow. Desirable. Desirable, 4 syllables. Desirable. Can you do that with me with your fingers? Desirable. Desirable. Good. Let me hear you do it by yourself. Good. Desirable is an adjective which modifies a noun. Desirable means pleasing or agreeable. And the sentence, my new school is in a very desirable location. So that would be a good location, wouldn't it? Perhaps it would be very close to where a lot of children live. My new school is in a very desirable location. So now it says, talk with your partner, and perhaps that means your teacher, about something you have a desire for. What do you have a desire for? I wonder. Maybe it's a new toy. Maybe it's a new video game. You think about it. Maybe it's, if you've never had them, maybe it's Legos. Maybe it's to go to Disney. Ooh, that would be fun, wouldn't it? What's your desire? Can you tell me? Ah, good, very good. I like that too. And my desires would be to travel, of course, because that's one of my hobbies. I love to travel. Precipice. Precipice, 3 syllables. Precipice, precipice. Can you join me and say it? Precipice, precipice. Good. Precipice is a noun. It means a very high and steep cliff. And you can see in our picture, there's a precipice. Let's read the sentence. We stood watchfully on the edge of the precipice and looked down. Wow, that might be scary. You think? Looking over the cliff, looking down, wow, that could be scary. The adjective is precipitous. Precipitous. This is 4 syllables. Can you give me 4 fingers? Precipitous. Precipitous. Good. Now let me hear you say it. Good. Precipitous is an adjective that means very steep. Look at how that cliff goes straight down. Wow. Let's read sentence 1. The waterfall hiking trail has many precipitous slopes. Wow. Let's read sentence 2. Hasty or abrupt, done with careful thought. Here's the sentence. Getting a kitten so suddenly was a precipitous act. Have you ever done a precipitous act? Have you ever bought a kitten or a dog at the spur of the moment? Or maybe it was more of a toy or a game that you bought, and you saw it and you wanted it so much, and you asked your parents, may I have it? Please, please, may I have it? Maybe it was something else you did that was precipitous, maybe on the playground. Can you think of something that you did that was suddenly, that you did it precipitously? I wonder. All right, thank you. Our next word is misfortune. 3 syllables. Misfortune. Misfortune. Okay? Misfortune is a noun that means bad luck. He had the misfortune to break his leg right before the big game. Wow. Wouldn't that be awful? Look at the picture here of the storm. The next sentence says, misfortune is an unlucky event. Unlucky. Hurricane Sandy in 2012 was New Jersey's worst misfortune in many years. Can you imagine going through a hurricane, or perhaps in a different area of the world, it's a typhoon or a tsunami, something like that? Wouldn't that be awful to go through that? Wow. Look at the boy in the picture in the photo. What happened with him? Wow, looks like he fell off his bike. I hope he didn't break his leg or something, but that is very unlucky as well, right? So he had the misfortune to fall off his bike. Our next word is console. Only 2 syllables. Console. Console. Can you say it with me? Console. Console. Let me hear you by yourself. Good. Console is a verb meaning to comfort. Look at the sentence. My parents tried to console me when my best friend moved away. Look at the parent there, the mother, consoling her daughter. The noun form is consolation. Let's do 4 fingers for 4 syllables. Consolation. Consolation. Consolation is a noun which means comfort. And let's read the sentence. I knew I could always turn to my aunt for consolation whenever I was upset. Can you think of someone you turn to for consolation when you're upset? Maybe it's your mom or your dad. Maybe it's your best friend. A lot of times that's how we get best friends, as we're there for each other. What do you think? Let's look at the last sentence here. Discuss with your partner how to give consolation to someone who is sad. Let's say your best friend at school is sad. You come up to them in the school, in the cafeteria perhaps, and they're very sad and droopy that day. What could you do to help them? You know, one of the best ways is to listen, is to let them speak and listen. And not try to fix the things, but just listen. Be a good listener. That's a good friend, isn't it? A good friend is a good listener. And maybe even like the mother in the photo, maybe give them a hug if they're okay with that, okay? All right, that would be good consolation. All right, so before we leave the vocabulary today, let's complete some sentences. Number 1, if you are a communicative person, that means you blah, blah. What would you put in the blank there? If you are a communicative person, that means you could give a 1-word answer. Communicate, right? Yes, you speak, you listen. That's communication. Listening and speaking back and forth. Number 2, my most desirable place to visit is, wow, I know I have so many. Where would you like to visit? Again, would it be like somewhere like Disney? Would it be a vacation maybe you have been on before? Good question. Number 3, a precipitous drop in temperature might make us, fill in that blank. It might make us cold, chilly. It might even make us sick or ill, right? If we get cold enough. Number 4, the worst misfortune for me might be, what would the worst misfortune be for Teacher Craig? Maybe it would be to lose a loved one. What would it be for you? Maybe if my dog passed away, that would be very hard. How about you? Do you have a pet? Wouldn't that be a misfortune to lose a pet? Let's do number 5. The consolation prize in a contest might be so let's say you know a friend who entered a science contest or a beauty contest, and they had a very good project, but they didn't win first prize or second prize or third prize. Sometimes they'll have the consolation prize. What would be a good consolation prize? I wonder. Maybe a small trophy? Maybe something that they wear around their neck. It could be a medal. What do you think? Interesting. Thank you. That completes our sentences for today. Let's go on to our story now. And I'm going to let you read it first. We have 4 pages. I'll let you read page 1, and then I will read it for you, and I will correct any of the words that you may have mispronounced, okay? So go ahead. Okay, now it's my turn to read. Thank you. Tokoyo and the Sea Monster, page 1. Folk tales are legends of past events that are passed on from adults to children without ever being written down. Every country has its folk tales, and this one from Japan comes to mind. It tells of the adventures of a young pearl diver named Tokoyo, who lived in Japan. The people of Tokoyo's village earned their livelihood by diving for pearls. They searched for the one oyster in 1,000 that contained a precious pearl. Tokoyo was the youngest of the divers. She could stay underwater for a longer period and collect more oysters than anyone. The ocean was like a second home to her. She swam easily through its depths and cut oysters from the rocks with her razor-sharp pearling knife. Very good. So let's go over the 2 words that you did not pronounce correctly. First is livelihood, 3 syllables. Can you give me 3 fingers? Livelihood, livelihood. Watch me, watch my lips and teeth and tongue. Livelihood, livelihood. Very good. Say it with me now 2 times. Livelihood, livelihood. Good. Now it's your turn. Let me hear it. Good, very good. The other word is depths. This is tricky, depths. You have a P, a TH, and an S, all close together. Watch me. Depth, depth, depth. Good, you try it. Good, that's much better. That's something you can work on, okay? All right, here we go. You read page 2, please, okay? Thank you. Okay, and now I will read page 2 and then correct any pronunciation errors you may have made. Tokoyo and the Sea Monster, page 2. The other pearl divers were all the family Tokoyo had. Her mother had died when Tokoyo was a baby. Then, while she was still a child, misfortune struck again. Her father had a sense of humor that sometimes got him into difficulties. One day he made an ill-advised joke about the fact that the emperor was an invalid. But making fun of the emperor was a crime. Tokoyo's father was banished to the island of Oki, far from the Japanese mainland. To make matters worse, communication between Tokoyo and her father was forbidden. Her friends tried to console the young girl, but they could not raise her spirits. She felt like an orphan. The house that had once echoed with laughter was now filled with misery. All right, now the words that you missed: misfortune, misfortune. Give me 3 fingers for the 3 syllables. Misfortune, misfortune. Let me hear you. That's better, thank you. And this one has 5 syllables. Please give me all 5 fingers. Communication, communication. Yes, let's please do that together. Can we? 2 times. Communication, communication. Good, your turn please, 2 times. Much better, thank you. Let's go to page 3, your turn to read. Good, my turn to read for you. Tokoyo and the Sea Monster, page 3. Tokoyo's one desire was to be reunited with her father. On her 15th birthday, she left her village and set off for Oki. Soon after landing on the island, Tokoyo saw a group of people gathered at the edge of a cliff. With them was a girl about her own age, dressed all in white. People explained to Tokoyo that an evil sea god made its home in the waters off the island. This god demanded the life of a young girl once a year. They told Tokoyo that the girl cowering before them had been selected as the sea god's victim. She was about to be cast into the sea. In addition to this, they told Tokoyo that the sea god had cast a spell on the emperor, causing his many ailments. When she heard this, Tokoyo saw a chance to help her father. She begged the people to let her take the girl's place. They began to deliberate among themselves while Tokoyo waited anxiously. Finally, to her great relief, they agreed. So the words that you missed as you were reading this were ailments, ailments, 2 syllables. Can you say ailments, ailments? Good. Say it by yourself. Good. Make sure you put the S on the end, not just ailment, but ailments with the S, ailments. Good. And the next word is 4 syllables, deliberate, deliberate, deliberate. Can you say it with me? Deliberate, deliberate. Good. Now say it by yourself. Very good. Much better. Thank you. All right, let's read page 4. Your turn, okay? Thank you. Good. Good job. Now, here, I will read page 4 for you and then correct your mistakes. Tokoyo and the Sea Monster, page 4. Tokoyo strode to the edge of the precipice. She took a deep breath and leaped into the water. She swam deeper and deeper, and after what seemed like an eternity, she found herself face to face with the evil sea god. Tokoyo attacked the sea god with her pearling knife, slaying him. The spell he had cast on the emperor was broken. In an instant, all the emperor's symptoms disappeared. He was delighted to discharge the doctors who had attended him, but who had not been able to cure him. When he was informed of Tokoyo's brave deed, he promised the young heroine whatever she wanted. As a result of Tokoyo's wish, her father regained his freedom and was happily reunited with his daughter. The end. So the words you missed on this page was symptoms. Symptoms. Only 2 syllables, symptoms. But you have an M and a P and a T right next to each other, like this. That's NPT right next to each other. So put that in the word now. Symptoms, symptoms, symptoms. That's tricky. That's one to take home and practice. Symptoms, symptoms. Let's do it together 2 times. Symptoms, symptoms. Now do it by yourself 2 times. Very good, very good. All right, that's great job reading that. And you should always read new things in new books because it helps with your English. Here's our homework assignments now. It says questions in section 10E, okay? And with this further instructions. Answer each of the following questions in the form of a sentence. If a question does not contain a vocabulary word from the lesson's word list, use one in your answer. That's important. Use each word only once. All right. It's been a joy teaching you today and interacting. Thank you so much. I think we've both learned a lot today. Thank you very much. Have a good week, okay? Bye-bye. Bye-bye.